Hi everyone, so this is Brittany Paul Castro, and today on the Living Beyond Asana vlog, I am interviewing Jen Jones, who is the co-founder and managing editor of Women You Should Know, which is a leading editorial site in the women's empowerment media circles. So I'm super excited about this. My first connection with Women You Should Know, like real connection, was that Jen had asked me to offer my interview that I did, not interview, my piece I did with the Huffington Post. So that was our first connection, and it was an awesome connection, and I'm super excited about it, and super excited to have her here. So Jen, come on out.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
It's great to have you. No
great
I Love
to
Lucy
be here.
moments. No I Love Lucy moments.
No, I didn't get tangled in my cord. I'm actually very proud of myself.
Good. First moment, a success.
Applause
awesome.
all around, and your intro was lovely. Thank you very much.
Nailed it the first time. Okay, so I'm super excited to have you here, and I want to, before we get into our topic, which I feel is a really important topic, especially for women that are trying to get it all done in life, in their careers, or just in life in general. I want to hear a little bit more about how Women You Should Know came to be.
Yeah, sure. So we launched in September of 2011, and it had a lot of inspiration behind it because my business partner and I, actually, our first business is a PR agency.
Yes.
So we started that in 2001, September of 2001.
Okay.
And as we did that work over the course of 10 years, we were interacting with the media daily, and we were getting increasingly frustrated with how women were being talked about by the media, how they were being covered, and the types of stories that were being told. And we would go out to all these events that we were either hosting or attending, and we would meet these amazing, kick-ass women and go, I don't understand why no one knows who she is. She should be on the cover of a magazine. She should have a full feature editorial on her because people need to know what she's doing and what she's all about. Yeah. So being in PR, we said, well, we need to create the editorial space that doesn't exist right now, that we couldn't find. An editorial space where those were the types of stories that you would get every single day. And a place also where women would be spoken to in an intelligent way. We found that, the majority of women's content, if you will, it's always relegated to beauty, fashion, and mommy. Yeah. And where's the rest of it? Where's the rest of the picture? And so we certainly couldn't find it in one place. So that's really... there were a lot of reasons why we started Women You Should Know, but those were two of the biggest. We really wanted to give deserving, unsung heroes the platform that they deserved. And we really also wanted to build a space where women could go and sort of inspire each other, and where we could share news and information that smart, savvy women want to talk about or want to know about.
Wow, that's amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah, so how many years has Women You Should Know been up and running?
So we launched in September of 2011, so it's a little over 3 years now. We moved full circle into it, I would say, about 1.5 to 2 years ago, because there was a time, actually, when we were balancing both the PR agency, where we had a full client load, and building Women You Should Know at the same time. And we've always had these moments over the course of our business where, for lack of a better way to say it, the universe kind of speaks to us and we can't ignore it.
Yes.
We loved what we did as entrepreneurs building a PR agency, and we loved the campaigns that we built for brands, but what we started doing with Women You Should Know touched us at an entirely different level. It was actually what we call soul-filling work. Yes. We didn't have that doing PR, and as the momentum started to build with Women You Should Know, we really made this sort of concerted, calculated decision. Let's pull back on the PR and go full force with Women You Should Know, because it's really what we wanted to be doing. It was really important work, and it was clearly resonating for people, and we wanted to just keep growing it and growing it.
Wow. So when you did that, did you feel like it was a risk when you made that big shift?
Oh, I mean, everything I've ever done as an entrepreneur has been a risk. Yeah. When Cynthia and I first started Outhouse, we met as an in-house 2-woman PR team at one of the biggest American jewelry brands. And we had great jobs, great salaries, stability. And she and I decided to start Outhouse because, once again, we saw a need.
Yeah.
There was a need in the industry that we were in for, I have to be careful how I say this. We just didn't see a lot of people working the way that we did with the same kind of work ethic that we had.
Yeah.
And we would hear when we were out from different brands, like, I don't ever hear from my PR agency. They don't call me back. I don't know what I'm doing. And we said, well, let's go out and fix that problem. So we decided to take the leap into entrepreneurship, which was terrifying. I remember the day I told my entire family, and I come from an incredibly supportive family, and without batting an eyelash, my parents were like, that is absolutely awesome. And then my extended family, because I also come from a large Italian family, so
yeah, me too.
There's always a lot of people that are involved in the conversation. Yeah. We were at a communion or a christening or something like that, and everybody around the table thought it was the greatest idea. So to have that kind of support, personally rallying around you was great. But at the same time, it's scary because, at the end of the day, you're not only doing your job, you're actually running a business.
Yeah.
And it is all on you to then bring the money in, do the job for the clients, and pay your bills at the end of the day.
Yes. Totally.
So, yes, it was an enormous risk, but there's a reason why there's the cliche, no risk, no reward.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
And we kind of grabbed hands and jumped off the cliff together, and it was a wild ride. I mean, in particular, because the day that we were opening Outhouse was September 11, 2001.
Wow.
And our phone lines were being installed at 1 o'clock that afternoon, and our office, or the office that we had just rented, was 1 block south of the World Trade Center.
Wow.
So that added fear and risk. It took it to a totally different level.
Yeah.
Once we got through at least the first few hours of that day into the night, we knew that our families, fortunately, were all safe, several of which worked in Lower Manhattan. And over the next couple of days and weeks, we sort of had to look at each other and go, what do we do? This is the worst time in the history of the universe.
Yeah.
And certainly not the perfect moment to be starting a new business when there were so many other priorities that the world was focused on at the time.
Yeah.
But we made a commitment to each other, and we said, you know what, we're going to go for it, and we're just going to do it, and we're going to see what happens. And that was an enormous risk, and there was a lot of fear, but the fear was also mixed with excitement because we were doing something that we really believed in. So fortunately, we landed our first client within like the first month and a half. And by 2002, early 2002, only a couple of months later, we landed a huge client. And that kind of got the ball rolling, and we just kept going and going and going from there. So
this really just segues into what we wanted to talk about today, our topic, which is what would you do if you thought you couldn't fail, right?
Right.
So how does that apply to you in this situation?
You know what's interesting about me, and I'm gonna put myself on the couch right now. Those sorts of things, that type of fear, like, what would you do if you weren't afraid to fail? Mm-hmm. It doesn't stop me, and I can't articulate why necessarily. But if I believe in something, I'm willing to go for it, and I'm willing to put in the effort. Mm-hmm. Fear definitely, admittedly, leads me in other parts of my life, which is sort of interesting because it seems like the big, scary things I'm not so afraid of. I just sort of go for it. And it's like the silly things, or the more silly things, the more incidental things where I sort of kind of maybe hesitate to do something or think about something a little bit too long before I decide to do it.
So there's the fear of failure that sometimes can stop people in their tracks. What about the fear of success?
That's scary too, actually, because sometimes it's like be careful what you wish for type of a thing.
Yeah.
I think you have to have a plan because sometimes success can come faster and more furiously than you anticipated, and it can get ahead of you.
Yes.
And you don't want that to happen. Like, you want to sort of be the one that's still, steering that ship while it's happening and you're sailing off into the success of the sunset.
Yeah.
So I think people have to be careful about that when they're setting out to do something, is sort of look at the big picture and figure out what that success might be for you. So, you know, you can be on top of it when it happens.
Yeah. Well, because I think, you know, there's so many levels and layers of success.
Yeah, and it's individually defined too.
Exactly.
You know, for somebody it's financial. For somebody else, it's soul filling. It's, you know, for somebody else, it's doing something that they never thought in a million years they could do. So it's also how you define it for yourself.
Yeah, totally. And I think sometimes that we can get caught up in numbers or like, or comparison.
Yeah.
Like comparing ourselves to, oh, well, that person did this and I think that's successful, so I have to do it this way. Or, you know, I have to mirror that.
Right. And it's interesting because did you read Amy Poehler's Yes, Please?
No, I know what you're talking about though. No, I haven't read it yet.
So it's the book she just released a couple months ago. It's fantastic and I highly recommend it. It's hilarious and insightful, but she says one thing in that book in terms of comparison.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure I'm getting this right. She says, good for her, but not for me.
Yes.
And I think too many women do exactly what you just mentioned, is that you look at somebody else's life or somebody else's business or somebody else's path and you compare yourself to it. But like the point she's making is that no, that's good for her, but it may not be good for me. And I don't know why we've been conditioned to sort of do this.
Totally.
But I think it's a good habit to get out of.
Yeah, especially as women, I feel like.
Yes. Yeah, we sort of notoriously do that for some strange reason, and everybody is an individual and everybody's life is different and everybody's life has so many different components to it. So why would what works for me necessarily work for you in terms of the specifics of how you got somewhere or how you did something? Totally.
I totally agree. I love how our talk of failure shifted into talk of success. Oftentimes that's what happens with failure, right?
Well, and they go hand in hand,
they
really.
Totally
so
do. Yeah, they totally do. Awesome. So this has been such a pleasure, even with the fire and the.
I think that made it super exciting. I loved the candle moment.
I wanted to almost turn the camera around and be like, "Look, what's happening right now." So thank you so much, Jen. And all of your info, the website Women You Should Know is right below here. So I want everybody to go check it out because there's so many amazing articles and there's so many amazing women and you guys put on some pretty awesome events as well, right?
We do, yeah. We have a great one coming up this Tuesday. That's all about women, inspiring women, and we're screening a film called The Empowerment Project. 5 women filmmakers hit the road across the U.S. for 30 days and interviewed documentary-style 17 amazing women who don't get press, but they should, and everybody should know their names. So we're very excited. We have a great night planned, so it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it sounds like a lot of fun. Awesome. Okay, so thank you so much, and I will see all of you next week, and take care. Bye, Jen.